Every morning I wake up before the sun, just like I used to when he was little. I still make coffee for 2, still open the same curtains, still wait for footsteps that never come. His cup sits across from mine, untouched. I guess some habits are just small pieces of love that refuse to die. He used to call me Mommy in that sweet, sleepy voice. Even when he got older, he'd tease me with it. Mommy, what's for dinner? And I'd roll my eyes, pretending to be annoyed. But secretly, I loved it. It made me feel needed. It made me feel his. But one day, he stopped. I don't even know when. Maybe after his wedding. Maybe after he moved out. Maybe it happened slowly, one word at a time, until Mommy turned into Mum, and Mum turned into silence. He wasn't my real son, but I loved him like he was his mother. My sister died when he was barely a year old. I was 30 back then, newly married, still figuring out who I was supposed to be. When I held that little boy in my arms for the first time, I just knew. I couldn't let him go. My husband didn't fight it. He said, if he feels like yours, then he is. Those years weren't easy. We didn't have much, but love was never the thing we lacked. I worked 2 jobs, days at the diner, nights sewing clothes for neighbours. I remember counting pennies just to buy him new sneakers for school. He never knew how hard it was. I didn't want him to. Kids shouldn't have to carry their parents' struggles. He was a curious little soul, always asking questions. Mommy, why is the sky blue? Mommy, do stars fall when they're tired? Mommy, will you still be here when I grow up? I used to laugh and tell him, of course, baby. I'm not going anywhere. And he'd hug me, whisper, then I'll never leave you either. God, how I held on to those words. He grew up faster than I could handle. Now, one day he was holding my hand crossing the street, and the next he was driving away to college. I packed his bags, tucked a note inside. Call me when you get there. He hugged me before leaving, tighter than ever. I didn't want to let go. It felt like I was losing a part of myself. At first, he called every night. We'd talk about his classes, his new friends, the cafeteria food he hated. He'd tell me everything, like best friends do. Then, the calls got shorter, then once a week, then once a month, and then holidays. When he met her, I was genuinely happy for him. Her name was Emily. She sounded nice, soft-spoken, kind. He told me she made him laugh, that she reminded him of home. I smiled and said, I can't wait to meet her. He said, soon, Mum, I promise. But soon never came. One afternoon, I got a text, not a call, saying he was getting married. I read it twice, thinking maybe I misunderstood, but I hadn't. He'd already done it. No wedding invite, no photos, no phone call. That night I didn't cry. I just sat by the window and watched the moon. It looked cold, perfect, untouchable, kind of like love when it forgets you. He called the next day. His voice was gentle, a little nervous. Mum, I didn't want to stress you with all the travelling. It was all last minute. I told him it was okay. I told him I understood. That's what mothers do. We cover our heartbreak with forgiveness, even when no one asks for it. When I finally met her, Emily smiled politely. She called me Auntie, not Mom, not mother-in-law, Auntie. She didn't mean it badly, I could tell. She just didn't know where to place me. Maybe she thought I was just some old woman who helped raise her husband. She didn't know that every scar on my hands carried pieces of his childhood. After that day, everything felt different. He stopped calling me Mommy. He stopped asking how my day was. Our talks became shorter, polite, almost like conversations between neighbours. When he visits now, which isn't often, he sits on the edge of the couch, scrolling through his phone, asking if I'm taking my meds. I smile, tell him I'm fine, bring him tea. He takes it, says, "Thanks, Auntie." Every time that word cuts a little deeper. Sometimes when the house gets too quiet, I talk to his photos. There's one where he's 3 years old, sitting on my lap, holding a wooden toy car. His cheeks are round, his smile pure. I trace his little face with my fingers and whisper, "You promised you'd never leave me." But life doesn't listen. People move on. He has his own world now, a wife, a job, new responsibilities. I understand that. I really do. I just wish he remembered that behind every piece of his success, there's a woman who gave up her dreams so his could come true. Some nights I imagine hearing his voice again, that soft, playful tone saying, "Mommy, look at me." And I answer, just like before, "I see you, sweetheart. I always see you." Then the moment fades. The only sound left is the clock ticking on the wall. Tick-tock, reminding me that love doesn't always end with goodbye. Sometimes it just fades in silence. The hardest part about getting older isn't the wrinkles or the aching knees. It's the quiet, the kind of quiet that sinks deep into your bones. Sometimes I sit by the window just to listen to the world outside. The cars passing, a dog barking somewhere, kids laughing down the street. Their laughter drifts through the open window like a memory I can't quite hold. It reminds me of him. The way he used to run through the hallway, chasing bubbles, yelling, "Mommy, look, I caught one." Back then, this house felt alive. Now it just feels like a museum, full of things that used to matter. His room still looks the same. Same posters, same trophies, same faded bedsheet with little stars on it. Dust has started to gather on the corners, but I can't bring myself to clean it. It feels like if I move anything, I'll lose what's left of him. I still text him sometimes, just small things. "Good morning, hope you're eating well. Don't forget your jacket, it's getting cold." Sometimes he replies with a heart emoji, sometimes just "thanks," and sometimes nothing at all. The last time he visited was almost 5 months ago. He brought Emily with him. She was polite, as always, smiling, checking her phone, nodding when I spoke I made them their favourite meal. The same dish I used to cook when he was little, chicken casserole, the one with the crispy top he always loved. When I placed it on the table, he smiled, but it wasn't the smile I remembered. It was the kind of smile people use when they're being kind, not when they're being real. He said, "Mom, this looks great." I said, "You mean Auntie?" He laughed softly, not catching the pain behind my joke. Dinner felt quiet, almost careful. I wanted to ask him about his life, his dreams, his plans, but every question felt like a door he didn't want to open. After dessert, they said they had to go, something about a dinner with friends. He hugged me, quick and distracted, and said, "Take care, okay?" And then he was gone again. That night, I couldn't sleep. The smell of casserole still lingered in the air. I sat on the edge of my bed and cried quietly, like I used to when he was away at college. Only this time, it felt heavier, like I was mourning someone who was still alive. Days passed, one melting into another. Seasons changed, but my life didn't. I started spending more time at the park, watching strangers, watching families. Sometimes I'd see young mothers pushing strollers, their babies laughing, their faces tired but full of love. And I'd smile, a little sad, a little proud, because once upon a time, that was me. One afternoon, I saw a young man helping his mom walk across the grass. He was holding her arm gently, talking, laughing, I don't know why, but tears just rolled down my cheeks. Not because I was jealous, but because I realized I'd raised a good man. Somewhere inside that distant adult version of him, there was still my boy, maybe buried, maybe quiet. But there. I decided to call him that night. My hands were shaking as I dialed. He picked up after a few rings. "Hey, Mum," he said, and for a moment I thought I heard warmth. I smiled. "Hi, honey, how are you?" "Good, just busy. Work's been crazy." "I understand, I just wanted to hear your voice." He paused. "Everything okay?" "Yeah," I lied. "Everything's fine." We talked for a few minutes. He told me about his new job, his new apartment, the vacation he and Emily were planning. When I asked if they'd come visit soon, he said, "We'll see, Mom." Things are hectic right now. And just like that, the call ended. I stared at the phone long after the line went dead. I kept hearing his voice echo in my head. "We'll see." It sounded so final, so distant. A week later was my birthday. I didn't tell anyone, I didn't expect much, but somewhere deep down I was hoping for that one call, that one message, that one reminder that I still mattered to someone. Morning came. The sun poured through the window. I made myself coffee, sat by the window, waited. I told myself he was probably busy, that maybe he'd call later by afternoon. Nothing. By evening, I stopped checking my phone. That night, as I blew out a single candle on a cupcake I bought for myself, the phone finally buzzed. A message. My heart jumped. It was an automated text from my pharmacy reminding me about my refill. I laughed, then I cried, then I just sat there, staring at that little flame melting into wax. It's funny, you know, how a heart can keep breaking even when it's already shattered. A few days later, I got sick. Nothing serious, just a cold that turned into a cough, that turned into a fever. The kind of sickness that reminds you how alone you are. I didn't tell him. I didn't want to be a burden. But one night my neighbour found me fainted near the kitchen and called an ambulance. I woke up in the hospital, hooked to machines, the room humming with quiet sounds. A nurse said, "Your son's been notified." My heart fluttered. I waited. Hours passed, then a day, then two. He didn't come. He sent flowers, white lilies. There was a note. "Get well soon. Sorry I couldn't be there. Work's crazy. Love you." I held that note against my chest and smiled through tears. Because even in his absence, even in that small, distant message, I found a trace of love. When I was discharged, the nurse helped me pack my things. She asked if someone was picking me up. I said, "No, I'll call a cab." She gave me that look, the one people give when they feel sorry for you but don't know what to say. Back home, the house felt colder than ever. I turned on the TV just for the noise. The same old couch, the same photos on the wall, the same empty cup across the table. I realized something that night. Loneliness isn't the absence of people. It's the absence of someone who remembers you without being reminded. I don't blame him. I know life moves on. People grow, change, forget. Maybe that's just how it's supposed to be. Maybe mothers aren't meant to be remembered forever, just long enough to help someone become who they're meant to be. Still, every night before bed, I whisper his name into the dark. I don't expect an answer. I just do it because that's what love does. It stays, even when it's not seen. Sometimes I dream that he's still little. I see him running through the kitchen, laughing, calling out, "Mommy, catch me!" And I chase him, breathless and happy. Then I wake up, the room quiet again, the dream fading like morning fog. And even though it hurts, I whisper softly to myself, "I did my best. I really did." There comes a time when you stop checking the door. You stop waiting for footsteps that never come. You learn to live with the echo of your own voice. That's where I am now. It's been months since I last saw him. The seasons have changed again. The maple outside my window is turning red. I love that tree. It's the only thing around here that still changes, that still feels alive. Sometimes, when the wind blows, its leaves scatter across the porch like tiny reminders that time never stands still. Even when you do, I've been weaker lately. The doctor says I need rest, but rest feels like practice for leaving. The nights are the hardest. The house gets colder, quieter. The ticking clock becomes the only heartbeat in the room. One evening, I pulled out an old box from the closet. Inside were years of memories, baby shoes, birthday cards, crayon drawings that said, "I love you, Mommy." My hands trembled as I touched each one. Every piece felt like a doorway to another life, a better one. I pressed one of his old notes to my chest, the one he wrote in second grade that said, "Mommy, you're my favourite person in the whole world." I smiled, then I cried, then I whispered, "You still are, sweetheart. You always will be." That night, I couldn't sleep. Something inside me said it was time to put my feelings somewhere safe. So I took out an old tape recorder, the kind he used to play with when he was a kid. I sat on the couch, pressed record, and began to speak. "Hi, honey. If you're hearing this, it probably means I'm not around anymore. I'm not saying this to scare you, so don't be sad. I just wanted to talk to you one last time, the way we used to, before the world got so loud. You were never mine by blood, but you were mine by choice. I chose you every single day. Through exhaustion, through loneliness, through love that never asked for anything back. I don't regret a second of it. I remember the first time you called me Mommy. You had peanut butter on your face, your hands sticky, your little eyes so full of trust. That word, Mommy, it saved me. It gave me a reason to wake up. It gave me purpose. When you grew older, you stopped saying it. And that's okay. People change. But I hope you never forgot the warmth behind it, the love that built your world, even when you didn't see it. I know you've built a new life now. You have your own family, your own dreams. That's what every mother wants, to see her child live freely. But if you ever wonder where home is, it's here. It's always been here. Every time you laughed, I kept that sound like a secret. Every time you cried, I wished I could take the pain instead. Every sacrifice I made wasn't a burden. It was a prayer. You were my prayer. So don't feel guilty, baby. Don't feel bad for moving on. Just remember me when you hear the rain tapping against your window. That sound, that's me, reminding you that love never dies. It just changes shape. And if you ever have a little one of your own someday, hold them close, tell them you love them before it's too late. Say it often, say it loud, because silence is heavy. And I don't want you to carry the kind I did. I love you, my son. Always have, always will. I stopped the recording and sat there for a long time. The air felt still, almost sacred. I placed the recorder inside that same old box, tucked beneath his baby shoes and drawings. Then I sealed it with a note on top. For you, when you're ready to listen. The next morning, I mailed the box to his address. I didn't write a return name, I just hoped he'd open it. Days passed, weeks. My body grew weaker. I spent most of my time sitting by the window, watching the sky turn gold. Every evening I didn't expect anything anymore. Peace had found me in small, quiet ways, in sunlight on the floor, in the smell of coffee, in memories that no longer hurt as sharply as before. Then, one afternoon, the phone rang. My heart skipped. I reached for it slowly. "Mum?" His voice softer than I remembered. I smiled. "Hey, honey." There was silence, a long, trembling kind. Then I heard him sniff. "I got your box." I felt my throat tighten. "You did?" "Yeah," he whispered. "I listened to everything. I didn't realize how much I'd—" His voice broke. I closed my eyes. "It's okay," I said gently. "You don't owe me anything. You're my son. That's enough." He cried quietly. I could almost see him. That same little boy holding his wooden toy, the one who promised he'd never leave me. He said, "Mommy, I'm sorry." That one word, Mommy. It hit me like sunlight after a long, cold winter. I smiled, tears sliding down my cheeks. "I know, sweetheart, I know." We talked for hours about everything, about nothing. It felt like time had folded back on itself, giving me one last beautiful moment. When we hung up, I sat there in silence. But this time it wasn't the heavy kind. It was gentle, peaceful. That night, I slept without dreams. For the first time in years, my heart felt light. A week later, he came to visit. Emily was with him. They knocked softly, but I didn't answer. The house was quiet, the air still. They found me by the window, the sunlight warm on my face, the tape recorder beside me. He held my hand and cried, whispering, "Mommy," over and over. Emily wept too. They buried me beneath the maple tree I loved so much. In the fall, when the leaves turn red, they still visit sometimes. He brings his daughter now, she's 5, bright eyes, curly hair. She runs around the yard laughing, calling him Daddy. And sometimes when the wind rustles through the trees, she looks up and says, "Daddy, did you hear that?" He smiles softly. "Yeah, baby," he says. "That's Grandma saying hello." And maybe it is, because love doesn't end. It just changes form, from words to memories to whispers carried by the wind. And somewhere in that wind, if you listen closely enough, you'll still hear me say, "I see you, my love. I always see you." Life moves fast. People grow, change, drift apart. Sometimes the ones we love the most don't stay with us the way we hope. And sometimes we don't realize how precious a single word, a single hug, or a simple "I love you" can be until it's too late. I spent my life loving someone who didn't always see me. But even in the distance, even in the silence, that love never faded. It lived in every meal I cooked, every bedtime story I whispered, every sacrifice I made quietly. And without asking for thanks, love doesn't keep score. Love doesn't demand attention. Love just is. If there's someone in your life who matters to you, don't wait. Call them today. Tell them you love them. Hold them close. Laugh with them. Cry with them. Share your life while you still can. Because one day, the house will be quiet. The footsteps will be gone. And the only thing that will remain are memories and the love you chose to give, no matter what. Even when I was forgotten, even when he stopped calling me Mommy, I never stopped loving him. And that, more than anything, gave me peace. Love is never wasted. It echoes, it lingers, it lives on. And sometimes, if you listen closely, it speaks back. So love fiercely, love openly, love without regret. Because in the end, love is the only story that truly lasts.